Okay, so we move now to the contains all method. So we started as before. Okay, so contains all method should. Okay, we do the same thing right there. Okay, should. Okay, we write our test. Write display name. For contains all, so our first test would be we should like return false when an element, just one element, does not exist in the set. We can go the other way around by, let's say, checking if all elements exist, it should return true. So we could say right there, return true when all provided or all elements exists. Okay, so return true when all elements exist. Okay, so we just start by, let's say, assert true and adding, and then our fake list, add all fake list. Okay, we could like assert true if we add half of contains all our fake fake list sublist. Let's say we begin from the zero index to, let's say, fake list size divided by 2 to take just the half of my list. So it should returns true right there. I execute my code and see see the result of my test. Okay, so great, we have a failing test, we expect like true and we found false. We go there and implement what we need to implement to make this test pass. Okay, so we could like write here and do like we could like fake the call right here. Let's add true and then execute our code and see if it's working. Great, so it's working. So let's go to the next test that says return false when an element does not exist. Okay, return false when element does not exist. Okay, so we try to add our fake list as before, add all fake list. Then we try to let's create like sublist right here with the string. We say this is contain list. We like do fake list sublist. We take like the half of our list. Okay, we could like add some values that does not exist in my set. Okay, then I assert false that my set does not contain actually my contain list right there. So should execute my code and should return false. Great, so we have a failing test saying that it's unsupported operation exception. Why? Because the fake list right here is returning an immutable list. So what I would do is like I instantiate that array like this. Okay, to create a new array list. Okay, great. So we have a failing test that says that we expect false, but we found it true. We go to the contains all method and we try to implement what we need to do to make this test pass. So we could directly name the C2 elements. And what I'd like to do is like to for loop to these elements. We can use a stream, and like we could say if we didn't like we found just one that does not exist, so we return false. So it's like an end operation. So I would map through my list. For each element I would do contains if it contains, and then I would do a reduce right here, which would be an AND, logical AND. Okay, we make the method the reference right there and return or else false if nothing was implied right there. Okay, so we return the result of this stream and we check whether our test is executing successfully. Great, so if we execute all our code, it should works. Great, so it's working. Let's add the final test, which says that it should throw an exception when passing a null element. Okay, so like throw exception when passing a null element. We go right there and we like assert throw as before. And no further exception class. We do the lambda expression one. We like call our TDD set contains all with like a new array list. We do cannot accept no elements. Okay. Okay, great. So I could like instantiate my array list right there. Okay, I would move it to the level of the method level, and I go back to the lambda expression. I would say that I add an element right here that is null. I could like add all elements in my fake list and change the list, and then you execute my code to see if it's working. Great, so it's working. That's all for this video. Seeing you in the next one.